And call the meeting to order. Sorry, we're starting a couple minutes late, but we are getting ready to roll and get through this. So I appreciate everybody being here for the December 12th meeting of the Springdale School Board. First thing we're going to do is we're going to call Amy Mondragon up to the microphone, and she's going to lead our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Amy, tell us about your year at Springdale and what you've been doing, what you plan on doing. The floor is yours.
So at Springdale, it's been a pretty eventful year so far. We're ending off the first semester pretty strong. Well, I am, thankfully, with grades-wise and attendance and everything. But so far, I am a part of student council, and I'm the vice president. So we've done a pep rally or two. I think it's been 2 pep rallies so far. And so, yeah, we did the first one where me and Jamie Aguilar, that's the president, me and her work a lot together with planning the pep rallies and making sure they're really interesting for everyone that's been able to look at them. So we've had an ESPN pep rally where me and Jamie have worn like bald caps. I don't know if you guys have seen that. And then we had nursery rhymes versus nursing home. And so me and Jamie dressed up as old ladies for the day. So yeah, that was pretty fun. And then I'm also a part of the dance team at Springdale High School, and we've gone to many competitions and placed, thankfully, and at state, it was pretty fun. And then I'm also part of the medical academy. That's why I'm wearing these scrubs right now. I've been able to do service learning and many volunteer opportunities with Key Club and National Honor Society. So yeah, that's been fun, and I'm looking forward to also doing senior shadowing. So like I'll get to choose a profession, and then I'll be able to shadow them for a couple days. So I'm pretty excited about that. So far the year's been pretty eventful, and I'm excited to finish the year off strong as a senior. And I'll be going to the U of A and pursuing psychology there. So do you guys have any questions or anything?
So one thing we always like to ask the kids that come and talk to us is like, where have you gone to school in Springdale? Have you been here the whole time? And if so, what different schools have you been to?
So yes, I've been in the Springdale area since pre-K. When I was in pre-K, I went to Turnbow Elementary because that was before Sonora had their pre-K program. And then after that, it was kindergarten through 5th grade. I've gone to Sonora Elementary. And then I went right next door to Sonora Middle School. And then right after that, I went to Lakeside Junior High, and then now I'm at Springdale High School. So yeah, and then also I wanted to just shout out my family right here. My mom's here, and then my aunt and my cousin. And my cousin's actually a Springdale alumni, so.
Board, is there any other questions that you'd like to ask? Siblings?
Yes, I have a twin sister, actually. She also goes to Springdale High School. She's kind of the opposite of me, and so she's actually pursuing the law field. She wants to go into criminal investigation. So, yeah, I'm going to be in the medical field, and she's going into the law. And then I have a little sister. She's in 7th grade right now. She goes to Sonora Middle School. So she's gone to pretty much all the same schools as I have also. And Alexa, of course, has been with me since pre-K. So, yeah, that's where all my siblings have attended.
So have y'all had any classes together?
So we've actually, I think we had one class together, and that was our English class in 6th grade. But we've had like the same teachers, which has been kind of a struggle for them remembering our names. Like, I don't want to call him out, but Mr. Stewart, he would call us the.
I won't call him out.
No, I love Mr. Stewart, but yeah, it's always interesting seeing, because since she's in the law academy, we never have classes together since I'm in the medical academy, and so it's funny finding out when our teachers see that we're twins, and so that's always a fun experience. And so, yeah, most of our teachers, I think since elementary and middle school, they've like kind of known since like we're near each other. But after junior high, it's like we're two completely different people in school. So, yeah, it's been a fun experience so far.
Well, you're beaming with confidence.
Thank you.
High probability of you being very successful.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Oh, no.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to. So
No,
you
you're
said you're
good.
going into psychology, but like your career goals are a little more than just psychology.
Yeah. So far with the medical academy, they've allowed me to look into like certain things I want to do in the medical field. And as of right now, I put neuroscience because that really interests me so far. And I just love to see how the brain works and to see like why we do certain things and then what behaviors cause different actions we do. But I'm kind of looking into, I don't know if I want to go into more medicine psychology, so psychiatry, or more of the behavioral science part. And also I've been looking at forensic psychology so far. So yeah, it's kind of like I'm still exploring psychology, but as of right now, I'm really interested in neuroscience. But yeah.
You got a lot of options there.
Yeah, thankfully.
You can go into forensic psychology, tell them who did this, and they can go find that person, then your sister can.
Yeah, exactly. That's the plan.
It'd be a good business.
For sure. Mondragon business, but.
Are there any other questions, board?
You should see her at the pep rallies. No fear. None.
I think you should invite us next time.
Oh yeah, you guys are definitely invited. We already have a fun one planned. So I think it's January 14th. It's the day of the rivalry HAR-BER game. So that one's gonna be very interesting and fun. But like he said, I think at the pep rallies, it's kind of like you kind of just like you don't see individual students, you kind of see like a whole blob of students. So I think that's what makes it easier whenever you're down there. And also my partner, I'd like to call her Jamie Aguilar, she's stuck right through me, and we're both in most of the same things. So it's easy, me and her have a really good connection. And so yeah, it's been really fun, especially with her by my side, but yeah.
I agree with Kevin. I think you're going to be successful. You're so shy. Mom, I guess you're pretty proud.
Very.
There we go. Well, we appreciate you being here this evening, and we'll be keeping an eye on you as you go through school, figure out which path you decide to go down.
Mhm.
So,
And thank you, Mr. Jones, for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it. He's been great throughout the year also. So yeah, thank you guys so much for this opportunity.
well, thanks for being here. Thanks. Okay. So are we good on our agenda for today?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mrs. Creek and a second by Mr. Bell to approve the agenda for this evening. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? All right. That brings us to the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions about those two items? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Was that you, Kevin? Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Emerson, a second by Mr. Owenby to accept the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so I'm going to pass it off to Dr. Cleveland now.
Yes, we had an interesting week last week, and I know many of you were able to attend the Arkansas School Board Association Conference. And so, Mr. Hutchison, if you don't know, Mr. Hutchison is double president. He's not only the president of our school board currently, but he's also the state association of boards president, and so we're really tickled, really pleased with him. The gavel was handed to him, and quite frankly, he would do a better job communicating that role than me. So, Mr. Hutchison, if you're okay with that, I'd love for you to be able to tell him.
Sure. So 5 of the 7 of us went down to the ASBA annual conference in Little Rock this past Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We presented twice. We presented for the CSSO program. Dave, well, I say we presented, Damon Donnell presented, and did a fabulous job, knocked it out of the park, as I'm sure you know that he would. Got a lot of people interested, and did a great job. And then we had a presentation that Dr. Cleveland led that had to do with board relations and the superintendent. And the 5 of us that were there set up there on kind of a panel, and we each had our turn to talk about different points, but we had a full room. I mean, there was a bunch of folks there, and had a lot of people come up afterwards and talk to us. That's always a good sign. And then kind of this goes into number 2 on D here. The highlight of the deal was at the end of the meeting, we were awarded the ASBA Board of Excellence, which we won the very first year it was put into place, and then now we've won it a second time. So that's, I don't know, there's not another district that's done it twice. So I'm pretty psyched about that, pretty proud of the board for winning that. So, and I want to say publicly thank you to the central office staff that put all that together, because I know you guys make us look fabulous, make us look awesome, and I appreciate that. Marcia, Shannon, Melissa, Kendra, Stacy, Damon, everybody that was involved in that, Trent, Dr. Cleveland, we really appreciate you doing that. So,
Thank you. It was a pleasure of ours, I know. And of course, those applications aren't easy, but it's really easy when the board has a lot of evidence to show. And so it's not our call. All we do is we lay it out, and it's up to the people who make those selections to do that, and obviously the work that you all have done over a period of years. This is why you were selected. So good job and well done.
thank you.
Is that A and B?
That's, I think, A and B, unless there's anything else that you think I need to add.
No, sir, I think we're good. Next up, I'd like to invite Mr. Rodney Ellis to the podium, our Director of Workforce Education. He, as he's walking, he works hard and often. I don't know when he sleeps, quite honestly, but we do see the evidence of his work in Ms. Williams. So welcome tonight, Mr. Ellis.
Thank you. And Dr. Cleveland, thank you, board. So we just wanted to take some time this evening to recognize some of our partners. And I'll pull them up as a group here, bring them up individually and have them speak to you some brief comments about some of these relationships and what they mean for our students. So just a few quick facts. Last year in May, we had our first district signing day. I know we've had some semblances of that through the district at different high schools, but as we move through the spring, we'll continue to recognize a lot of these partnerships. And I feel like that these 3, a lot of the things that we're currently doing, they've hired several of our students last year, are already working to move forward to hire more. So the first group that I would like to recognize is our APAC group, and that is Miss Yolanda Williams and Mr. Murray Klein. I'll have Chad Burkett come up quickly. So we started, I guess, about a year ago. I went and visited Murray at his office, and we actually kind of date back together from our high school days. So 2 Eastern Arkansas boys, but he's obviously done really well. So what we've talked about was trying to create a heavy equipment training program and that CDL program, which I mentioned to you. So we sat down and talked to them about how to move forward with that, along with other partners. So moving forward, we've got some definitely involvement with them. Ms. Williams spent 5 hours today with our students that Chad was training there. Also, our junior high was there. So, I mean, that's the type of time commitment that we're getting. So I'll just let them speak briefly about what this means to them.
I'll go first. I'll hand it to you, Ray. Okay. So yeah, we've been invested in Springdale for a long time. I think I spoke a few years ago. We hired an individual from Springdale High School at a job fair, and I tell a story that everybody had the signing days when they went to Arkansas Tech, University of Arkansas, and had these big scholarships, right? Well, he signed with us didn't have a ceremony, but his scholarship was probably worth about $40,000 a year when he started. He's advanced on up, he's still with us, and he's in a little supervisory role now, been with us about 6 years, and Springdale Chamber just had a workforce video that came out, and he's on from Springdale, and I'll let her tell you about Sunny Cass, but she's on from Springdale HAR-BER as well. So anyway, we're proud to support the Springdale schools. It's a great school system. My wife retired from the Springdale school system a few years ago, but I think we'll be very blessed for the opportunities we have up here. So, Yolanda, you want to tell them about the program?
Yes. So our CDL program that we currently have is we bring in individuals who don't currently have a CDL, and we put them through training within our academy. So we train them there for 3-4 weeks, depending on their need, and then we release them out to whether it's ready mix or back into the construction field, and we partner them with someone who's an experienced driver and can train them and prepare them for the field and the challenges that they will experience out there. We recently just had our first female graduate, which was Sunny Cass, and she is out of this HAR-BER High School. We just had another one, Chloe. She is also from this place, and she just got her CDL. So we have 2 females right now running ready mix trucks. So if you happen to see a pink truck, please smile, wave at our driver, Sunny. She is very excited, and she's very proud of what she does. So, first female.
To go through the academy.
Yes, and so we will continue to work with students. I reached out to Mr. Burkett here, so I attended the advisory board committee over at NWTI that were having issues getting students enrolled into the Intro to Diesel Mechanic program, and I took the challenge as part of the board to get some students involved, since I was part of their partnerships with the schools, and I was able to get 5 students sponsored by other employers to go through the intro mechanic, and we had a total of 9 students enrolled into the program. So we went from 0 to 9 in 1 week.
Good job.
So, yeah.
Chad, you want to speak a little bit about the CDL partnership? What that means
Yes,
for
so
you?
just want to brag on APAC. You know, we've talked to multiple partners over the years, but Mr. Klein, he actually sponsored myself to be trained with in cohort with NWA-CC, the community college, and then they're sponsoring for us to get a Class A CDL for myself, so we can actually stand up our own school. Our long-term goal over the next couple of years is to offer CDL training for both students, and our long-term goal, talking with Rodney, is to also provide that opportunity for the parents of the students. Our goal is to give back to our entire community, and you know, we found funding for that. But if it wasn't for companies like APAC and you know, Yolanda and I, we visit often. Not only, you know, these companies do more. Like today we were visiting out there where kids were pushing dirt. We were talking about helping kids with immigration. We were talking about, you know, students that face challenges with funding. She's like, you let me know and we'll find a way. And so, you know, partners like this are invaluable to the students of this school district. And I just want to thank both of them, because if we call and ask, they drop everything. They treat our students like, you know, their family members. We've toured the quarry. We've got to see Blast. We've been to SMG. All of Mr. Klein's employees are top notch, and I'm gonna tell you, he, you know, and his, you know, kindness to our school district is second to none. So I really want to thank them and let you all know just how vital a role that they play in our day-to-day business. And you know, the partnership, just talking on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis, it really integrates, because then we can real time change what we need to do in the classroom so we can place more students and be more successful. So appreciate them.
Invite Kimball Mechanical up, and they've been great partners with us across the district. So this is Casey Schooley and Travis Keller, and I really appreciate what they've done for us as a district. And you'll also note that I'm going in alphabetical order. So I know they had some relationships with our district prior to, and all these companies have, but last year I think they plucked 9 kids from across the district from all our schools, and they show up to every event. Casey and Travis are already working for tours that they started in the fall to start seeking kind of the talent pools. So they'll build that talent pool, and then they'll come back in the spring and culminate that with basically a hiring event. So I'd just like for you to briefly speak about the partnership with us and what that's starting to look like for your company.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I want to thank the school board, but importantly, thank the teachers and the career coaches. Like they make it happen for us. So we get an opportunity to get invited in the classroom, and we're very direct with the kids. Like our company and the culture that we have is unique, and we explain that. We explain that you're going to learn, right? So when you get out of high school, you don't check the box for learning. So not only we're an advocate for Kimball, the company that we represent, but we're an advocate for all the trades. So whether a kid wants to come and join Kimball, we're going to talk to them in their classroom setting like, hey, learn something that you can take anywhere almost in the United States with you. Like if you're a mechanic, culinary, like anything, medical field, like we encourage them to pursue that route. Not everybody has to go to college, and we'll let them know that. But at Kimball, we specialize in teaching the trade. We're fortunate we have our own plumbing apprenticeship school, and we just launched an electrical apprenticeship program. So they'll actually train in the field, on-the-job training, get paid for it. They're registered apprentice, and then in 2 years they can get their residential electrical license, stay 4 years and get their journeyman electrical license, and then plumbing's a 4-year. So they got to have 8,000 hours of on-the-job training. But we partner with them. We have the same thing for HVAC. They get all on-the-job training, and 5-6 years, we've got some young individuals that are making 6 figures. They move up through the ranks, but again, it's what the school instills in them from a student to teacher, responsibility, and then we get to partner with folks like Rodney, Don Tyson, all the schools. Heck, we've talked to them all the way down to the middle school level to try to get them interested and let them know that there's a great career opportunity out there, from a trades perspective.
So I actually came from education. I taught for 5 years before I started working with Kimball. And so the partnership that I have with the Springdale school districts is great. I love being able to see students succeed. That's why I like the position that I'm in at Kimball, is because I still get to work with high schools and seniors specifically to help them find what they want to do. And so, being able to work with the schools. He mentioned some of the stuff that we do throughout the year. So we have like job site visits that we do where we invite the schools to come. We have kids tour job sites, tour our warehouses. They come and sit down and have lunch with leadership. And then in the spring, we do like an open house hiring event where any student can come and interview for whatever trade that they want. And so getting to see students succeed through those events that we have is fantastic. Like he said, we hired 9 students from Springdale school districts last year, 31 students total from the Northwest Arkansas schools. So the partnerships that we have are really great, and I like watching those students succeed.
Last but not least, Kent Rogers, Mars, and Miss Osborne, could you come up with him? So, Kent comes to anything and everything that we ask him to, and I really appreciate him and what he does for us. And so, he's worked with Bob Maples. They helped set that metal building up over at HAR-BER where the electrical program started over there. He's worked at SHS, he's worked with DTSOI. So they're a great partner to us. And Ken, I'd just like for you to speak a little bit about what that means for Mars.
Okay, all right, thank you. First of all, being an old class clown, I get nervous being around a bunch of school administrators, first of all.
It's fine.
I was always in trouble in school, so. But, yeah, we greatly appreciate the Springdale School District and everything you do, the CTE programs. We've been partnering with you guys since the beginning of
You're the first. Kent was the first that came to us.
and we greatly appreciate that. We've mined a lot of talent from the Springdale School District and got them in our apprenticeship program. I think Travis touched on this a little bit. The electrical program, apprenticeship program, it's a commitment. It's a 4-year apprenticeship program. You're required to have 8,000 on-the-job training hours and then 576 classroom hours in our apprenticeship program. So it's a commitment, and I like to go and talk to the students and talk to the different classes, and I do the same thing. I promote trades in general. I come from a family of carpenters, and I ended up being an electrician. So being raised in the trades, being raised in a blue collar family, I appreciate that, and having that background. And I promote trades in general, but we have been very fortunate. Last year, we hired 7 from the Springdale School District. Travis out recruited me. I'm going to step it up this year. So, but and those we've got a lot of talent in our company. We have 118 employees now. A lot of them are kids that we've gotten through the school districts, and a lot out of Springdale. We've hired from HAR-BER, Springdale, and School of Innovation. So we greatly appreciate the partnership. In the Springdale School District, I say this everywhere I go, because we see kids come in from Rogers, from Bentonville, from Fayetteville, from the smaller schools. Springdale seems to do a better job of preparing kids for careers after school. When I interview kids from Springdale, they're better prepared for interviews. They do a better job doing their resumes. So, so you guys are doing a great job. Springdale School District's doing a good job preparing kids. So we just want to say thank you to you guys for what you're doing. So.
Thank you.
Our teachers are awesome, I'll say that.
Ms. Osborne is one of our teachers from industrial maintenance at Don Tyson School of Innovation and Venture Career Center. So Ms. Osborne, could you kind of speak a little bit about these partnerships and what they mean to our students?
I'll tell you what, it is a pleasure to have any one of these guys and gals come and talk to our students, you know, because sometimes when you're talking to students and they see you every day, and for me, that's 3 hours every single day for 2 years, and let's just say they get tired of me really quick. So it's really great to have other people from industry come in and back up the importance of skills, of resume building, of leadership, and all those kind of things that we're teaching in the classroom, and how beneficial that's going to be when they go out into the workforce as well.
So I think just briefly, so just a few pictures of some of these partnerships, but is there any questions from the board for this group? And I think a keynote from Travis and Murray that they mentioned, when you hear that some are already in a leadership role, it's not a dead-end track, it's get your foot in the door and move up. So learn about what the opportunities are there and progress up. And they all are homing for leadership day. Any questions or thoughts or comments that you
I don't have a question, but I want to say thank you, because both of my boys have been involved in this. Chad's nodding, he knows. So Aaron works for Kimball now, and he loves it. Y'all have been so amazing to him. And Matthew left Mars to go to the Marine Corps, and he will tell anyone who asks that that was a mistake. He can't wait to come back. So I hope you still have a spot for him in 3 years.
When he comes back, yeah. We love to hire veterans too.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
he'll be back.
Yeah.
He can't wait, right, Chad?
He came back and visited over Thanksgiving. He said, you know, he's pursuing electrician in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, that.
And he's like, I'm gonna come right back and I'm gonna go see Mr. Kent, see if he'll hire me back. So,
He actually got the job in the Marine Corps of Electrical, so he's super excited to kind of just learn a little bit in a different area and then come back. So thank all of you guys very much for what you're doing, because you're giving some great opportunities to a lot of hardworking kids.
I think Aaron, he came on part-time.
Yeah, he's actually doing something a little different with the internship, because he is going to school for electrical engineering.
Yeah, that's, you know, we're fortunate to have some flexibility, but also with Aaron being flexible too, so it kind of wasn't, you know, it's a model that's not typical.
Yeah, that's,
right?
he's kind of
We're able to
making,
get him out in the
yeah.
field and work and, you know, understand, you know, he's learning the HVAC side of things. He came to me, he's like, hey, I want to pursue something in college. That's great, you know, keep, you know, pursuing what you want to pursue, but, you know, still being able to work for us, and, you know, I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, we did a little remodel at our house, and he did all of our wiring and duct and all of that, so it hasn't burned down yet. It's good.
That's good, that's good.
Well, I think that's key. It's about options. So we want our students to have options. It's neither or. It's not college or this. You should have both in career. That's the way that we're pushing. So, and I think back to Dr. Cleveland's statement is very, very important. We've had great teachers that set foundations, CT programs that set foundations, and we're just continuing to build upon that. So I appreciate each and every one of them. So thank you for your time for these folks. We'll step out here and do that.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Dr. Smith?
Good evening, Dr. Cleveland Board. So I just want to say congratulations on the award. Like, we know how amazing you are, and it's just nice to be acknowledged by those people across the state for your hard work. And I know the work that you do with our students and our families and everybody, just second to none. So congratulations on that. Tonight, what we'd like to do, the curriculum and instruction team, nothing that you see is really going to be anything new. It's going to be a synthesis of the work that we've been doing and kind of putting some, a little deeper understanding on some of the data. So this image you've seen before. The top box really represents three main ideas. Learning is our fundamental purpose, committed to working together, and results rather than intentions. That's actually the foundation of the PLC process. What I'd like to draw your attention to is the blue and the pink boxes for just a minute. So as you remember, a few years ago, we came together and took our stakeholder feedback and created a district mission and vision statement. From that, we took our big audacious goals and really reviewed them and put some solid 5 big audacious goals together. And from that, we created what a lot of people call a school improvement plan. We actually call it a strategic action plan, and we do that for our district. But from there, what happened is the schools then kind of imitated a lot of what we did. They went back to their schools and they created their vision and mission statement, or they reviewed it and kind of redid it. Then they created their school goals based on the goals of our district. So we all collaboratively agree that we have 5 big audacious goals. The districts then came in and said, how are we going to help with these goals? And then they put their strategic action plan together at their buildings. And so no matter what we have in the blue, it cannot be done if we don't have this foundation of this pink. It's really the work that's happening in the buildings. So I'm just going to kind of focus on those two. Whoops. So just for us to kind of look at this synthesis, we're just going to look at 2 parts. And so our big 5, our big audacious goals, I'm just going to focus on 2. So the one with the star is each child will be on or above grade level in reading every year as measured by the state summative assessment. And you'll notice that star in just a minute why we're using that. And then the circle, each child will be on or above grade level in math every year as measured by the state summative assessment. Well, we have 5. The reason we're just picking 2 is so that you can see how one of these goals kind of goes from what we do at the district level all the way down to the building level. So that's kind of our focus tonight. So for the purpose of what I'm going to do, if you'll just pull out the blues document that's in front of you. And this is Springdale Public Schools Strategic Action Plan. And because they're quite lengthy, we wanted to give you a key. So anything in a star is really addressing reading. If it's a circle, it's addressing math. And if it's a triangle, it's addressing both. And so before I explain what we're going to do, I want to be really clear. So when we wrote these strategic action plans, we used last year's data to help drive it. However, within the last week, we have recently found out that they're going to look at changing how our A through F letter is assigned. And so what will happen, because we review these every single month, when we get that new information, that means there will be some revisions to these documents because they will now be looking at a different set of rules in which we kind of abide by. So just to know that. So before I go into this plan, I did want to point some things out. I know you've seen our statistics, but I wanted to point a few things out that maybe you haven't been told before in depth. So as you know, this is last year's data. We had 21,801 students. Of those, a little over 70% were identified as receiving free and reduced meals, which is about 15,304 of our students. Of these students, 11% of them were eligible for eligible to receive special education services. So 2,300, almost 2,400. If you'll notice our breakdown of ethnicity, 48% are Hispanic, 31% white, 2% black, 13% Pacific Islander. This is where our Marshallese fall, and then 4.7% are other. But I want to draw your attention specifically to our English learners. You hear us talk all the time about the number of English language learners. So to kind of put things into quantity, 34% of our students are English learners. which is about 7,412. We are about 20% of the state of Arkansas in terms of English language learners. But what we don't normally talk about is the level of our English learners. So I just want to explain what that means. If you'll notice the numbers that we have by our levels 1, 2, and 3, and I want to kind of define what those mean. So if a student is a level 1, that means they're emerging, which means they've not yet attained the skills to produce, interpret, or collaborate on grade level tasks. These are the students that are new to the district or have just very foundation language. Just to give you another number, we have about 595 first through 12th grade students new to the U.S. in our district since the first of the school year. So almost 600 of our students are new to the U.S. that are in English language learners. So I just kind of want you to think about that. Most of them would fall under this level 1. A level 2 student is one that is progressing, still has not reached it, but is getting a little bit closer to it. And then the third level is those that are proficient. That means they've been around long enough, they've attained the English skills to produce, interpret, collaborate on grade level tasks. So if you look at level 1 and level 2, we have about 6,500 of our students across the district who really are still learning the language. And they can, sometimes in level 1, they're anywhere between 1 to 4 years. So just kind of think about that as we're talking. So when you hear English language learners, we don't want you to think of one. We're actually having multiple categories and they're at different levels in our district. So with that information, I'd like you to now just look at the blue document for a second. Ms. Fink and Ms. Titcher are going to follow me and they're going to give you very specifics on buildings. But for just the sake of this conversation, in our district plan, you'll notice the front page, we have our district mission and vision statement, followed by our big audacious goals, and you're going to see similarities to this and to the building ones. The next page you'll notice are our goals. And when we write a SMART goal, you can see the different things that we're talking about here. But this page is really identifying the 5 big audacious goals and how are we going to meet them in terms of a SMART goal. Now, I'm not going to go through these, but just for example, 1A, 39% of Springdale students scored needs support on the ACT Aspire in reading. So we want to take that group of students and decrease it because we don't want as many in that level. So we created a SMART goal. By May 2024, the number of students scoring needs support in reading will decrease to 33.3% according to the Atlas Summative Assessment. So please note we now have 2 completely different assessments, so we will be comparing those. But those are how we set our goals. So this page is our expectations, and you can see them, how they match math and reading in both. I do want you to note that 3A, we also have an ELPA goal, and even though ELPA is not one of our big audacious goals, it does support the big audacious goals in terms of reading and math. If you go to the next page, then we go to the actions that it actually takes our district to achieve this. So for instance, the first one, you'll see the bullets next to it. It'll be the very specific steps that we're doing as a district to achieve this goal, the people responsible. And so that's how this strategic action plan is set up. Once we've established that, then it's now up to the buildings to kind of come in and support. So I'm going to have Ms. Fink come up and she's going to talk about the next one.
Good evening, Board. It is my honor and pleasure to share with you a little bit of information about John Tyson Elementary School. So to follow Dr. Smith, I wanted to kind of talk about their statistics. So John Tyson Elementary School last year had a total student population of 517 students. 71% of their students were low income, meaning they qualified for free reduced lunches. And 15% of their population are eligible to receive special education. And then you can kind of look at the ethnicity and compare to our district. A little higher Hispanic population than the district average. Our Caucasian population is about 30%, Black 3%. Pacific Islander was about half of the district average, and then other would be a little above the district average at 6.2%. And then talking about their English language learners, 37% of their population, which is 191 students, qualify for English language services. And you can kind of compare the breakdown between level 1s, 2s, and 3s. Tyson Elementary is one of our higher level 3 schools, meaning that about 19% of their students that are English language learners are fluent in the English language according to the ELPA 21 assessment. So if you will pull out the pink document, this is Tyson Elementary Strategic Action Plan. And as Dr. Smith mentioned, there are a lot of similarities between our district strategic action plan and this strategic action plan. So Ms. Tischer and I are going to help you kind of make those connections tonight. One thing that I did want to point out is in the past, these were very compliance driven, meaning that we would write these plans and then they'd go off on a shelf and we'd pull them back out at the end of the year just to review. Now these plans have become truly living, breathing documents that we review on an ongoing basis. And next month, if I were to bring you their plan again, it probably wouldn't read the exact same way because as they're learning from one another, as they're doing research, these plans evolve, which a good plan should do. So we have our district mission vision statement. And if you look at the bottom of page 1, we have our district big audacious goals, and at the bottom of page 1 is where we start personalizing this for our schools. And so Tyson, on page 1, continuing on page 2, put in their mission vision statement for their school, and all of our mission vision statements align well with our district mission vision statement. In our school plans, we do have a section for them to celebrate. We do believe in the power of celebration. We know that this is a foundational piece of the PLC process, that we really can get caught up in what's not going well. So we do want to give principals and teachers an opportunity to celebrate things that are going right in their school. And just looking at bullet 2, one of their big celebrations is they were ranked 26 of 525 schools in the state, so top 4.9%. And let's see, they were 39 out of 525 schools in the state, top 7.4%. And they were in the top 2% for value-added growth, so that was a really exciting thing for Tyson Elementary. If you'll turn over to page 3, I'm sorry. Yes, page 3. This is where they start to align their SMART goals with our big audacious goals. And so all of the goals that start with the number 1 align with our district big audacious goal that all children will be reading on grade level by the end of the year. And so one thing I did want to point out is our schools all have different tools for how they can assess reading. And so sometimes their goals within their plans may look a little different because they're using different assessments to monitor progress. So you can see that Tyson Elementary set goals 1A, B, C, D, E, and F. So all of those are goals that they're using to monitor progress towards reading. We do write the goals where we have our current reality. What did the data tell us? And that's making us create the plan. They create their SMART goal, and then at the beginning of next year or the middle of next year, whenever we get our data back, then they'll go in and complete this last column and measure how they progress towards their goal. So you can kind of flip through and just see that there are several pages of goals. I'm not going to go through all of these with you this evening. But every one of their goals aligns directly with one of our 5 big audacious goals. On page 6, they start their strategic plan. And what I want to draw your attention to are the headers in the table. There's a column for district SMART goal, school SMART goal, and so every action step that they have in their plan aligns with one of our goals. This is one of the ways we're trying to align our organizational arrows. We have evidence-based strategies. What is it we're doing that we know is research-based? The action steps to ensure mastery. The people responsible, and by responsible, that doesn't mean that they're responsible for making it happen. They're just responsible if we were to get audited or needed to collect evidence that they could go and find that evidence for us. And then I just wanted to draw your attention just briefly to the PLCs on page 6 and on page 7 where it talks about response to intervention. These are two staple items that are found in every one of our strategic action plans, but the autonomy comes in how schools set up systems and structures to do that work. And again, this is constantly evolving because we learn from one another as we're talking to one another, we're getting ideas, we're going back, we're changing, we're implementing that Plan, Do, Check, Act really becomes alive in these plans. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Is this something that the administration team is super familiar with and teachers or just administrators?
Yes, so history, going back when I talked about this being compliance driven, the administrators just owned it. But now the plan is created, it goes to the guiding coalition. The guiding coalition goes through, they help set the goals, they help create the plan, they make revisions, and then it goes to the teacher teams.
Can you talk about what the guiding coalition is?
Yes, so the guiding coalition, they are kind of decision makers in the school. They are a product of the professional learning community. So all of our collaborative team meetings have representatives that are on this guiding coalition, and they bring issues to the table and they talk about it. So if there's, they're constantly looking at data. So if they pull some reading data and they don't like what they see, they're talking about ways that they can improve that. They're talking about things that need to be discussed during their collaborative team meetings. So the Guiding Coalition really is a decision-making group in the schools that really takes that onus off the principals and kind of gives shared leadership within the building.
And it's made up of?
Teachers, instructional facilitators, administrators. And we're really excited to be bringing on a district guiding coalition, which sounds pretty easy until you start thinking about the number of teachers that we have in our district and how we're keeping that manageable. And so I think starting in January, we'll start a district guiding coalition as well. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening. A couple of things that I wanted to add. The ideal state of a strategic action plan is that it begins at the district level. It then translates to a strategic action plan that's aligned in every school. It then translates not only to Guiding Coalition, but to all of our collaborative teams. But it also translates all the way down to the student level. So if you were to go into any of our buildings, you could see examples of students who have written their own goals that are also aligned with many of the goals that you see in this plan. Because ideally, when we talk about collaborative team meetings, and you all have witnessed this firsthand, teachers are talking about individual students, student by student, skill by skill. And so our ultimate end goal, I guess, ongoing, is for students to also be familiar with their skill by skill and be able to create goals that align with the strategic action plan that goes all the way back up to the district level. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that not only do we not review these, but we actively engage in the work with these plans every single month with principals. At least once a year, our principals come in with our team and with Dr. Cleveland, and we review their plans, and we do those in small groups. So this year, we just did our strategic action plan meetings with our principals, and we had our high schools in a group, our junior highs in a group, our middle schools in a group, and then Ms. Fink sort of strategically grouped our elementaries into smaller groups. And they all had FaceTime with Dr. Cleveland and with our team to go through not only just their strategic action plan, but what are their glows and their highlights, but also what are their barriers and what are the real transparent challenges of the everyday work. And those, I can't even tell you how important those conversations are. And we talk about it with Dr. Cleveland constantly, like having that FaceTime with principals and being able to have that real transparent conversation about the work is very critical. The strategic plan that I chose tonight is Lakeside Junior High because I'm fascinated with their work. Lakeside is doing some really amazing work in the collaborative team PLC process at their school. And over the next few months, you're going to be seeing more of these strategic action plans. And so even though you're only seeing Tyson and Lakeside tonight, you will see more schools. But I do, before I kind of show you their plan, I do want to go over their information with you. So currently at Lakeside Junior High, they have 633 students, of which 88% of their students qualify for free or reduced lunch. 15% of their students are eligible for special education. And I really want to focus in on their ethnicity because they have a little bit of an anomaly compared to other schools. So you'll notice the Hispanic population is about close to the district average. The white population is 20.1, Black 1.9, but I really want you to look at their Pacific Islander population, 24%. And so when you look at the district at 13, you're looking at Lakeside at 24. And so in essence, what that means is that about 152 of their 633 students are of Pacific Islander descent, which incorporates all of our Marshallese students and obviously students from other places in the Pacific Islands. And so I think that's critically important when we're looking at the work there. For example, we translate everything into Spanish, obviously, and there are lots of apps and computer tools that help you translate things into Spanish, but it is difficult at times to translate everything into Marshallese, for example. And we do have 52 spoken languages in our district, so obviously I'm only referring to a few. But that's just one example when you're looking at, 24% of your students. Also, something about Lakeside, 36% of their students, so about 228, are English language learners, while 13% of them are level 1, which again, those are those brand new to the United States, emerging learners. Look at their level 2, 77.4%. And so when you're looking at that, you're looking at 33% of their entire school, or 206 students, are level 1 or level 2 language learners. And so when you're looking at the work there, I think that's really important. When you look at their free and reduced rate, just for a number, that would be 557 of their 633 students qualify for free or reduced meals. And although this year the 22-23, their grade level was a D, they are 1 point from a C. And I am certain that they are seeking not only that 1 point, but more points than that. So if you'll pull out the yellow packet there, you'll see the Lakeside plan. Ms. Fink has already gone over the format with you, but on page 2 and at the top of page 3, I really want to point out the work that's going on at Lakeside. As you can see, for example, the first category in 8th grade reading, they reduced their students in need of support by 14.7%. And they increased their overall reading by 5%. So not only did they reduce the needs of support, but they increased the ready readers and the exceeding readers. That's their largest increase since 2018. When you look at 9th grade reading, you're seeing the same. They reduced their in need of support by 13.5%. Then you look at their exceeding percent increase, their overall level increased by 6%, largest increase since 2017. And then you can go through the different categories. 9th grade, you'll see very similar data, drastic reduction in needs of supportive reading, big increases in overall readiness. And then you will see a little bit smaller decreases and increases in math. However, those are still successes, and I know that they have goals in their plan to continue to address those. I also want to point out for ELPA, so at ELPA testers, the language proficiency assessment, you're looking at 228 students. 33 students performed above their expected growth, and only 9 of those 228 performed below expected growth. All the other students in that category were within the range of projected growth. If you flip over to page 4, that's when their goals, you can start to see their SMART goals. One thing that I want to point out is when you look at their current reality, you're going to see ACT Aspire. And when you look at their SMART goals, you're going to see Atlas, because I do want to remind you that we're going to a new state assessment this year. Something that's unique about the secondary level is that they have grade level tests. So in English, there are grade level tests in grades 3 through 10. In science, there are grade level tests in 3 through 8. But in math, for example, after the Math 8 test, there's an algebra end of course assessment. So all the students in algebra are going to take an EOC, geometry EOC, and a biology EOC. And so we're not testing every grade band in every subject like we have in the past. And so when you look at their goals in this plan, they do look a little bit different. But you can go down each of those goals. Number 1 is their reading goal. You can see what they're striving for in both 9th and 8th grade reading on the Atlas. Number 2 is their math goal. And number 3 is their science achievement goal. And then when you flip over to page 5, you'll notice that one of their goals, and something they're very passionate about, is increasing the number of students in their school that are enrolled in advanced placement courses. And so they're looking at not only increasing their enrollment, but also increasing the number of students who score a 3 or above on the corresponding exam, which, just as a reminder, equals college credit in the state of Arkansas for those students. Starting on page 6, you can see that they have their action steps, and just like Ms. Fink pointed out about Tyson Elementary, you'll see that all of their action steps are related to the CTM process. They're related to the student-by-student, skill-by-skill work. They're related to all things professional learning communities, from common assessments to learning targets, to essential standards, to loose-tight culture. You can see all of the work woven all through and within. On page 7, they talk about horizontal and vertical alignment of essential skills. And then again, on page 8, you can see that, again, more target by target, skill by skill work. And then the RTI process concludes on page 9. And so I just want to conclude by saying, I know this was a lot of information, a lot to digest, but I really do want you all to know that our principals, and they're not only the principals, but the teachers, are deeply entrenched in this work. And anytime you're in a building, I always want you to feel free to ask about the strategic action plan. We can provide you with any information. I know you've already seen them because you approved them already, but we can provide you in-depth information anytime you want, and we're always happy to answer any questions that you may have about the day in and day out work that our amazing principals, teachers, and staff and students are engaging in. Do you have any questions for me as we conclude our section?
So each CT is each classroom teacher, right?
So when you see in there,
CT is core classroom.
yes, so if you see, well, if it says CTM, it's talking about those individual collaborative teams that meet on early release Wednesdays. And so that's where all of the work occurs, is in those collaborative team meetings.
So CTs will develop detailed unit plans.
Yes, collaborative teams.
Responsible to each CT.
Yes. And so if you're different in secondary, what you could see in some of the plans, you might see something like core teachers or CTE teachers, which would be career and technical, or you might see like specialty teachers. But for the most part, all of the language that you're going to see in there revolves around the professional learning community process, so it would all be related to like collaborative teaming. Any other questions for me or for us?
No, I think a couple observations, even Ms. Fink, when she went through the Tyson one, noted that there are these responsible parties. Man, I kind of like that.
Yes.
Even though it's a lot for audit purposes, I do like it because you've got somebody's name there, and that means they're vested in
Absolutely.
in that. And if it's not where it's supposed to be, you've got a pretty good group to go find.
Yeah, you know who to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that.
and you'll see that in our district strategic action plan as well. So that accountability starts with us and is also mirrored in our plan, and you'll see that in every building level plan.
I mean, somebody like me can understand it. It's pretty good.
All right, thank you all. We appreciate you very much.
There was a lot of
however, to me, whenever principals came in different groups together, instead of one person almost defending their school, we had several, 3, 4, and 5 at a time that came in and collaborated about what's going on in the school, what do they wish was better, how can they make it better, and then they worked off each other. We've got 3 principals in here tonight who could talk to you about it if you like, but it was important to me that when we all came together as a team, that's what it was. It was a team. It was not a gotcha, it's not that. It's, okay, we have each other.
No, that's not what I meant either. And like, you guys know me, I don't mince my words sometimes, but just having that responsibility identification, even with people who work downtown in the IS arena and the English language arena that aren't tied to a particular school, but having them also as identified as accountable.
Put a name to it. Otherwise, nobody knows who is responsible
That
for
gives
that.
those classroom teachers also that comfort that it's not just them, I mean, it's everybody, right?
Absolutely. And just to conclude with what Dr. Cleveland said, my favorite part, first of all, I love strategic action plan meeting days when they come in and meet with our team. They're very long. We typically start at like 7:30 in the morning and we go until about 5:30 because we have 31 schools. But seeing them celebrate each other is really exciting for me. Hearing the common vocabulary that we've worked so hard to build over the last 4 years through all of our alignment processes, and then watching them furiously take notes when their colleagues are talking and asking each other questions, and then even setting up follow-up meetings afterwards to learn from each other is really exciting. And we also are blessed to see that on a monthly basis in our principal meetings. Our principal meetings are incredibly collaborative in nature. They just are constantly learning from one another. And one thing that we are going to do, we would like to invite you to come to a principals meeting anytime you want and just see the work, sit at a table with them, sit at multiple tables, just listen into that collaborative process. And so second semester, we'll be sending you invitations to come to a principals meeting anytime you want, even if it's just a drop-in for 10 or 15 minutes. You don't have to come and attend the entire thing, but just so you can see this in action, because it's way more exciting than the 3 of us standing up here talking about it when you see them engaged in it. And so, all right, thank you very much.
I knew what you were talking about.
I can't stop talking sometimes.
That's great. The principals and the teachers, they work so hard. Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, board. Hey, Dr. Cleveland. I've got a new construction update, and then I'll also update on the furniture that we put in at some elementaries. So at Central Junior High, and all of these projects are making a lot of progress. So, Central, they're starting to do some of the finish work in some of those areas in phase 1. I've got sheetrock up, a lot of the ductwork's going in. They're getting the perimeter of that building sealed up, so they'll be able to work no matter what the weather is. So most of the exterior, they've got the metal panels on and the brick. They are putting in a lot of the aluminum storefront windows and the glass. This is on the interior. They're actually starting to polish a lot of the concrete, getting a lot of the primer on the walls. Some more of the aluminum storefront. There's a lot of glass going into this building, so they're getting that all sealed up. Do you guys have any questions about Central? Okay.
Have you been able to drive by lately? It's pretty good.
Yeah, they're making a lot of progress over there. So we're doing a lot of utility work back on the east side where that temporary bus parking was, getting ready to tie in a bunch of utilities. So any time during these breaks, we'll be doing a lot of that work, so we can take the old building down and hook in the new, but keep the old building going until spring break. Southwest, it's the same. They've made a lot of progress over there. They've got almost all of the doors and windows in, all of the exteriors sealed up. The interior, they've got the floors polished, and they're actually putting in ceiling grid over there. So they're starting to drop in HVAC ducts, lights, and everything at Southwest. There's a view of the media center. They're getting ready to start priming that area. They're in the hall. They were polishing the concrete, so they just try to pull up the dust as they go. And they're putting a lot of primer on over there as well, block filler. This is the cafeteria. So they've got it polished, and then they'll put runners down on that floor for the lifts and everything to drive on to not scar it up.
Coach Matthews wouldn't know what to do with himself in that cafeteria, would he?
No, he wouldn't. So over there,
Both the junior highs are on schedule.
Yep.
Everything good.
Yeah, everything's on schedule right now. I mean, they're making a lot of progress. Now that they've got them closed in, weather doesn't affect them. And they have a lot of workers, in on all the different trades. Because those, even Central Phase 1 it's a lot of square footage. So like the downstairs east wing, they're putting primer and stuff on, but the upstairs west wing is a lot further behind. So the trades are going just around the bottom and then back up. So they're just following each other. But yeah, they're making a lot of progress. Springdale High School, they've made a lot of progress. They've got all the asphalt done on the parking lots. They've actually got trees and shrubs in now. Since we took these pictures, all the parking lot lights are working. Inside, they're starting to put all the paint on the floor, doing all the finishes on the railing. All that concrete has been polished. They've got a lot of the wood on the student section of bleachers. That's the turf, the warm-up area that's back on the west side of Springdale High. All the railing, and so there will be handicap parking south of this area. And then so the buses will be able to come through here. We'll have handicap parking, then go into a ball game, football game, or basketball or volleyball. But that's coming along really good.
Okay, pause.
Gotcha.
Question. It was gonna be the end of December, 1st of January, now I'm here in the middle of February. What happened?
The plan is the mid-February is move in.
What happened? There was,
That's always been the plan for us.
that's what I thought, but not from,
So they're ahead of schedule over here. So we're actually going to start putting in all the weight equipment on the 18th of December. Furniture will follow up right after Christmas break, so first week of January. All the student furniture will go in. So, I mean, we are ahead of schedule.
but we're looking at the middle of February. Okay.
Yeah, that's what the schedule is now. But like I said, we are ahead of schedule. All the HVAC units are in place. They're
The big one?
the big one, they put that in about, it's probably 3 weeks ago. It came in, they set it on the roof and stuff, so, I mean, they're making a lot of progress over there. We did have a little bit of delays that Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, we were supposed to do that asphalt over there. The weather, it was too cold, so we weren't able to do that, so that pushed us off about a week, but they're making a lot. I mean, the courtyard, all the final dirt's in. Like I said, trees and shrubs are going in. Exterior's lit. We've actually moved the job trailer and everything, so they're actually starting to prep the parking lot to the north of this area. They're getting ready to work on that.
Okay, the existing parking.
Yeah, the existing parking on the east side of the football field. So we're ahead of schedule here. Okay, George Elementary. They've got a lot of work done over here. The milestone team has really moved and got us caught back up on schedule. So they're doing the CMU block right now. And actually these photos are a little older. That is a new set of restrooms that'll be in this addition, and they've actually started laying the CMU for these bathroom walls. All the plumbing is done. They'll put CMU up, and then they'll continue on. All the green metal panels are up. Well, 90% of them. They still like just a little bit being done. But we had 2 delays on that. They came in from the manufacturer and had oil canning, kind of like little dents you could see from the factory. So they had to reorder twice. So this last set was in good shape, so they've got those mostly put up. There's some of the metal panels, and then they've started the exterior painting when the weather cooperates. So they're painting all the CMU block will be that gray, and then it'll be white. So this is the gym, and so as of today, the south wall of the gym's 100% complete. The north wall's about 90% complete, and then they'll start putting on the metal roof metal joist. So it is looking like a big gym now. They'll start the other walls next there. The music room, the walls are about 20% done. Cafeteria is about 50% done. So we are catching back up on that project over there. All of the plumbing for those restrooms are 90% complete. And then the electrical rough in, as they get walls up, the electricians will come right back behind and start roughing that in. So the electricians are about 20%. And then, so we planned 7 elementaries to get new student furniture, and it took longer to plan this project than it did to actually roll it out. So we installed the furniture. We did 1 week. We would do a school change out. So we'd take delivery of the furniture, assemble it in the gym or the cafeteria, depending on the school. And then while the kids were gone to specials out of their home rooms, we would change out their furniture. So it took about 4 days to do that. And then that left Friday to kind of clean up the mess and prepare for the next week. But we have finished all 7, and they're all a little different. We worked with the principals to let them pick colors of the desks, the edge banding, the chairs. They got to pick tables or desks for kindergarten. So it's just a few pictures of the desks. So that's T.G. Smith. Jones Elementary was one. That's what they look like. Elmdale was another one. So these desks, they are a lot easier to clean. They're solid plastic. There's no wood. Here's Tyson Elementary. So they're just all different. Walker was another one that got it. And then Parson Hills also got furniture. And Westwood. So we've got that all complete. So that project's done. That'll give us more time for some other projects. You guys have any questions on any of that? Okay. All right, thanks.
Good job, Jeremy. Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Cleveland. You had included in your board packet your November financial statements. We're on target with where we thought we would be as expected. This was one of our big tax collection months for the month of November because the payments due in October. We're running right along where we had planned to be as far as our percentages and our margins. And so if you have any questions.
Well, they've been looking through it, so maybe just give them a minute.
Sure.
Motion that we approve the financials as presented.
Awesome. All All right, we have a, excuse me, we have a motion by Mrs. Creek and a second by Mr. Bell to approve the financials as presented. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Oh, sweet, nice. Okay, come on up.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Cleveland. I am Valerie Hanna, SEA President and a elementary teacher here in the district, and you just a moment ago, because apparently I can't keep quiet, saw my classroom up on the board, and I was one of the privileged teachers that got the new desks and for all my students, and it's been really nice because it actually, weirdly, the tables took up less room, but it gave the students more space, just because there's less legs, there's less, all the chairs and that kind of thing. So it's been really nice. So this month's pretty short and sweet. SEA was looking for things that we could do for our teachers and for educators, and if there was any need within the district, and we actually didn't receive any requests this year specifically. I know. It seems to be a year of like, we're good, everything's good. However, I did throw out to the board and ask for a donation for Elmdale for Operation Reindeer, which we have next Monday night. So I kind of, as using one thing to help the other thing when I'm on both things. But, that's the way that goes sometimes. So, but if anything is, and I'm just saying this more for saying it out loud, if anyone hears of a teacher and educator that needs something or is having a struggle, if they contact us, we'd love to help out some people, especially this time of year. And that's pretty much all that we did this last month. Next Tuesday, we have our end of the year, winter celebration over at Black Apple at 4:30. If y'all want to come and, talk or the other things that might happen at that location. Anyway, with that, I hope y'all have a Merry Christmas. Oh, silly me. Miss Callie Day just passed out to you a little envelope there, a little token of our appreciation, and inside of it, and I'm sure she'll hit me for this later, she worked very hard to make some beautiful ornaments for you guys, so thank you.
Of course, a kindergarten teacher.
Thank you. Did you do these? Really? You did these? That's all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any?
Oh, this is super.
I can't see. Oh, it's you? Valerie Hanna. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's do a turnaround. Hi. My name is Valerie Hanna, and I also am on a board of a nonprofit called Beyond a Step in Benton and Washington County. We do fundraising for first responder, last responders, and veterans within the community. It all started with a 9/11 event where over at Rogers High School, the people that came and participated, they climbed the steps for as many steps as you would have had to take to get out of the Twin Towers. And through that, we had some people that said, you should really, do something with this, become a nonprofit. So we did. And we have grown to where we've done events like mom proms and poinsettia fundraisers. And the current one that we're doing is called Blessings Beyond a Step. And the reason I'm bothering to tell you guys this, other than just, it's always good PR, is that 2 of our CCSOs were nominated for a blessing, and they were selected. So Mr. Beatty from Bayari and Mr. Connors from Elmdale. And I didn't do that one. I got somebody else to nominate, so I didn't, do that part. But I just wanted to let you know that we were going to give a blessing to both of those CCSOs, and it's think along the steps of like angel tree type scenario. So, just information.
Thanks.
If you want to know more about us, please go to beyondastep.org.
Beyond a step.
Beyond a Step. And here in, well, hopefully, in end of February, we're going to have a mom prom for the second year in a row over at the Apollo on Emma. Last year it was at Blue Zoo in Rogers, and again, it just raising money for the cause that we're passionate about. So, thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Anybody else? All right, with that, there's a couple miscellaneous things there. If you have any questions about those, see Dr. Cleveland. Otherwise,
Okay.
we're adjourned.
Thank you, sir.